Hey, good morning, everybody. It's about 8 o'clock here, somewhere on the New Jersey Turnpike northbound. I want to start by saying I crushed that math test that I was nervous about. I crushed it. I got a 97 on it, and I'm pretty proud of that. Um, if you're uninitiated, I released a YouTube video a couple days ago where I was just kind of going on and on about how I was nervous for my math test I had later that day, and I crushed it. I did great on it, so I'm super happy about it. It was the best grade I got on any test in that class so far. So I want to use that as kind of a segue to talk about my relationship with mathematics and use it to paint kind of a broader picture of optimism, I suppose, and believing in yourself. When I was a kid in school, I really liked school, I think, for like the first 4 or 5 years, right? Like preschool to like third grade. I think I was really into it. And I was really good at it too. I liked being at school and I liked learning. The thing that I think really got me about school was I didn't like homework. It was felt like very intrusive to me, and I'm like a little kid. I just want to go home. I want to go play Halo Combat Evolved on my Xbox, right? And so beyond that, though, I really did like school. I liked learning. I liked I was kind of a performer, get up in front of the class and talk about stuff. And I think most concepts came naturally to me. I was very quick with stuff. Whatever. I have ADHD, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Just kind of, I won't speak on it too much. It's just, I have it, and it'll kind of, I think it's just some important context in this picture I'm trying to paint. And so, I think around fourth grade, I started to struggle with school a little bit. I think really what was happening is I just like really didn't want to do my homework, and so like it was just kind of like a source of stress for me when I showed up to school and like wouldn't have it done. And then also these glasses that are on my face, I didn't have them yet, and when I was in fourth grade, that's like when my vision went bad, and I like couldn't see the board, and so that obviously kind of affected me for like half a year before I got my glasses. But anyway. Whew, excuse me. So fifth grade, I kind of start to struggle, and suddenly and then like sixth and seventh grades, like especially seventh grade, I think that's like when I really started to struggle like with the work, and particularly mathematics. I don't think there was anything that was like super hard about the work. It was just that it was like demanding like more and more of my time, and especially like more and more of like do this at home. And in hindsight, it's easy to say, oh, I probably could have knocked that out like quickly, but it's like as a kid, you're less willing to accept like, oh, there's just stuff you got to do in life, like you haven't learned that lesson yet. And also like I'm not like, at least I'd like to think, I'm not as educated or as intelligent as or wise as I am now. So I was just like, that stuff was harder. I was at a different skill level. That being said, I think most concepts I was pretty good with up until about seventh grade, which is when algebra kind of started to get a little bit heavy, for lack of a better word. Like not really, but like a little bit. And that was like when I really started to struggle with math for some reason. It went from this thing that I just kind of intuitively understood, to this thing of like, oh no, like I actually like I don't understand this. And in hindsight, I think my lack of understanding came from like inattention and like not really having anybody particularly advocate for me, and just like just not caring. Like I could have easily, not easily, but I could have probably picked up the ball that I had dropped. But I wouldn't, and it's always hindsight's 2020, but I just couldn't do that. Like at that point, I was just not, it just wasn't in my toolkit. So in 8th grade, I'm like struggling with mathematics. I'm not studying, I'm not doing my homework. I'm like barely eking out maybe like a C in the class. And my teacher, she's like upset because she's like, she's like, you're better than this. I know you're better than this. And I'm like, nope, I'm not better than this. Put me out, coach. Like, and she's like, whatever. By the end of the year, she made the case to me that maybe I am dyscalculate. And it wasn't like a big thing. She didn't like sit me down. It was just something that came up in conversation. And for the uninitiated, dyscalculia is essentially the mathematics version of dyslexia, right? And there was kind of reason to believe that I was dyscalculate when dealing with algebra, like something about like dealing with like a couple variables and stuff like that. It was like I couldn't keep track of multiple things at a time, and it would just like things would just slip away in my head, whatever. In hindsight, I think this stuff was just, while I wasn't a great student, I think this stuff was being taught to me very, very poorly. Anyway. And I also had like untreated ADHD. So, at the end of 8th grade, I was totally fed up with public school for a variety of reasons, but one of them being that I couldn't do mathematics. I couldn't do it. It would like push me to the verge of tears trying to do this stuff. And it was like traumatizing, man. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to paint this picture right now. But it was like very, very difficult. It was very, very frustrating, and it really became like this big source of distress for me. So the end of 8th grade, I leave public school. I go to a Sudbury school, which is a form of alternative schooling. It's a model in which essentially it's a democratic school run by the students. No classes, no teachers, no grades, no homework. Sounds radical. I don't want to get into it all that much. It's a whole other thing. That being said, I want to make it very clear that I have absolutely no regrets about attending a Sudbury school. And it was the single greatest choice I ever made was to attend a Sudbury school, and it was the greatest experience of my life thus far, to which nothing holds a candle. Okay. Sidebar over. So, I go to Sudbury school. I have a great time. This weight of school and all this stuff I was really struggling with is kind of lifted off of me. And, I'm like, at Sudbury school, I really start to develop myself as a musician, and I'm taking music lessons, and I'm getting really into it, and learning a good bit of music theory, and just all sorts of cool stuff. And I graduate from Sudbury school, and when I first got into it, the Sudbury school, I was like super, super anti-standardized education. I was super anti-college, which was a big thing. Any of my friends know that I was very anti-college, and it's a scam, and this and that. Whatever. I was a very angsty teenager. And although there was truth in a lot of what I was saying. And so where was I? I'm at the Sudbury school. I graduate, develop myself as a musician there. And I, at the age of 21, which was, this is last September, this is like August, September 2025, I decide I'm going to college. I'm like, I want to go to college. I want to learn more. I want to do something kind of high level. Now, in my mind, I believe that I was going to be forever locked out of academia because I was incapable of doing mathematics. And I, to a large extent, kind of believed this. This sort of lie that I was telling myself. I really believed it. Just because it had been what I told myself over and over again after leaving public school. It's like, no, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at math. And then it's like, in hindsight, it's like I was doing all sorts of math every day, especially in music. So I decided to enroll in college just because I'm like, I think I just like, I want to get more educated. I'm kind of worried about my future if I don't. But I do want to get more educated as well. Get into school, I have to take a placement test because obviously I didn't take any SATs or anything. I don't really have any high school transcript that has classes on it, obviously, because I went to a Sudbury school. And so I take the placement test. I place right into college level reading. Wasn't a surprise to me. I've always been a talented, maybe not talented, but I've always had a propensity for writing. And it's just come naturally to me. Something I've just been able to exercise very well and consistently throughout my life. I do the math portion. Before this placement test, I had crammed a couple math concepts with my ex-girlfriend, the woman I was with at the time. Just because it had been like, whoa, I'm like, I don't even think I remember how to do like long addition and subtraction, like I haven't done it in years, I gotta remember how to like carry numbers, I gotta remember how to do division and multiplication, like long style. Obviously, like I know how to do these basic arithmetic concepts, but I just had to like, practice up on them. And then also we kind of went over like some more simple algebraic concepts and whatnot. Anyway, so I go into the placement test, nail the reading and writing portion, do the math portion. I'm like, oh man, I'm bombing this. I finish it up after like 2.5 grueling hours, the whole test, not just the math portion. And the lady at the front of the testing center gives me our results instantly. And she's like, all right, here you go. She's like, you placed into college math. I'm like, what? And I was like stunned. I was stunned. I couldn't believe it. She's like, yeah, you placed right into college math. Here you go. Here's the classes you want to sign up for, which would have been, I think, Math 100, which is college algebra. It's like, it's the next step once you get right out of high school. And I'm like, I haven't taken a single math class since 8th grade, in which I nearly failed that 8th grade class. And I also, just kind of intuited my way through most of those problems, I really just crammed a couple concepts. I mean, it's still not even close to a well-oiled machine here, and I just I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe that I placed into college math. And I looked at the paper over and over and over again, was trying to see oh no, I gotta go do all this stuff. No, I was really looking for a mistake. I placed right into it. And it's crazy because when I was cramming some of these concepts just a few nights ago, it was traumatic for me. It was very, very distressing doing math again, because it just reminded me of all those hours sitting at the kitchen table doing homework with somebody yelling at me dude, what are you just get it done, you've been here for hours. And I'm just I just can't do it. I can't do it, and so I go in for my college math class, right? And I take one class and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And I go, to do my homework that night, and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, I can't. I don't understand it. I am like way far behind what we're doing here, and it was very upsetting to me, and it was a very distressing feeling, and I'm just like I'm screwed. Like I'm not, like, I can't do this. Like, I'm not meant for this, you know. Like, I'm never going to be able to get through college. I'm never going to be able to, like, make something better of myself. And so, kind of formulate a plan. I'm going to go to the student center. I'm going to drop this class, and I'm either going to seek tutoring, or I'm going to take the pre-algebra class, or like the high school algebra class, which the unit is Math 029. That's the subject, right? So I drop it. Luckily, I get a full refund. You know, and obviously I wanted to drop it because I knew I was going to fail it, which it's just a waste of money. You know, you're paying for this stuff in college. So I drop it. I get my money back, luckily. No harm, no foul. Get through my last semester. Had an English comm class and a business class. The business class was total stupid waste of my time, but I did it. Got a B. And the English comp was awesome. I loved that class. Awesome. I loved that class. Anyway, so come this semester, I sign up for this math class, and I'm kind of nervous, but I'm really gonna focus on this. I'm really gonna try. I'm really gonna apply myself, and you know, I can say pretty confidently, I think I probably have the best grade in the class. I don't mean that in any sort of derogatory way. I just think that's just how it is. And it's been awesome. Like, not only am I good at this stuff, but I really love it. Like, I really, really love it. And it's just algebra. It's just high school algebra, you know, college algebra right now. So, you know, I'm sure some of you guys are scoffing at me saying, oh, we'll see how this guy's doing. You know, he's got to get the calc, whatever. But I really love this stuff, and I'm really into the theory side of these concepts, and it's just, it's so cool to just see how logically everything just fits together, and everything's just accounted for. You think something's unaccounted for, and if you do it right, no, everything fits back together perfectly, and you can just see how algebra is so cool, because you can just see all these problems and equations, and see how you can take them apart and put them back together, and manipulate them, and it's just really cool to me, and it's been really cool learning these concepts and like learning how to wield them. I've enjoyed this class so much that I have actually decided to switch my major to computer science. Now, computer science is something that I have loved and been interested in and thought is super cool my whole life, but I've totally told myself that I can't do it because of these lies that I've been telling myself and not believing in myself. And it's all just not true. So I'm switching my major to comp sci. I want to get better at developing and using computers to my advantage. If you saw what my bedroom looked like, my space, well, you kind of have seen what it looks like a little bit if you've watched some of my other videos. You would be shocked to know that I'm not already a comp sci student, or that I'm not a developer or programmer, you know, because there's computer parts everywhere. I've been in the computer hardware forever. I'm a total nerd. I'm a total dork. And so, you know, I'm gonna do it. I want to learn more about this stuff, and now I really believe I can do it, and I'm excited to do it. Like, I'm really excited to learn about all of these mathematical concepts. And, you know, they were designed by humans. They weren't designed by humans. Math was more or less discovered by humans. And I'm a human. I can do it, you know? I believe in myself. I do. I believe in myself. I really believe that I can do it, and I think I'm going to enjoy it, because I really have been enjoying it, and it's like, I really enjoy it. I haven't enjoyed something like this in a long time, and I think I kind of found my my new calling heading into the next couple of years, which is to like kind of get really good at mathematics and kind of all these STEM concepts and stuff, and use them as a tool, you know. It's a really good feeling. I feel emboldened by it, and I'm excited to keep learning. I really wish I didn't have to work full time, because now all I want to do is study. I just want to study. I just want to totally immerse myself in my studies. But anyway, man, moral of the story is believe yourself. Believe in yourself optimistically, because I really believed in myself that I was not cut out for these things. I was not cut out for STEM and for mathematics and science, and everybody around me knew that was false, especially like my parents. They were like, dude, they're like, you can do whatever you want. They're like, you just need to apply yourself. And you get tired of hearing that. You're like, well, you don't get it, you know? And they probably do, but they probably also don't fully get it. I don't know. I took a chance. I've really tried to calm down and approach these concepts from the ground up, and it's been great. And I think another couple things that I kind of want to end on here as, you know, the idea, if you tell yourself a lie or somebody says a lie over and over again, it eventually becomes the truth. That kind of happened to me. I told myself I can't do math. I told myself that over and over again, and I really believed that for a couple years. And so I spent years not studying this stuff. And I really believed it. I also think we as a society and we as educators are doing great harm unto our children and our adults by telling them, especially our children, that there are math-minded people and writing and reading-minded people and history-minded people and sports-minded people. I think some people might have certain predispositions to things, but I think it's ultimately really harmful to kind of try and like tell people that people are kind of, because I feel like the way it's told is like, oh, people are, you know, you're just going to want to get through this one thing and you'll be really good at this other thing. And it's like, I think it's good to encourage people to do the things that they're good at, but I think it's even better to encourage things to try harder at the things they're not good at, you know? Those are the real confidence builders. And if you're like me, maybe you'll discover something that you're really good at. I really like, but you never would have gone for otherwise. My English professor last semester, her and I got kind of close, and I remember telling her like, oh yeah, like I'm horrible at math, and she's like, I don't believe that. She's like, that really shocks me. You know, she's like, you seem so analytical and logistical. She's like, there's no way that you're bad at math. And I'm like, no, I swear I really am. She's like, okay, sure. And she was right. This semester, yesterday, I was, my math professor, I always get close with my professors. It's just the kind of guy I am. And I was walking her out at the end of the night. She, for some reason, I think she's kind of afraid of like walking through the building alone for one reason or another. I haven't really asked. It's not really my business. So she asks me to walk her to the front door. And I was kind of telling her like, oh yeah, I'm switching to comp sci, and you know, and one of my big problems is like I want to do everything. You know, I can't just do one thing. I want to do everything. I'm completely and totally restless. And I'm like, and I tell her, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna switch to comp sci, and like I think I can do it. And she just kind of scoffs and she laughs and she's like, I think you can do whatever you want. And that felt really good. Believe in yourself, man. Believe in yourself. Because if I had believed in myself a little bit sooner, I'd probably be a bit further along right now. But really believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Because I believe you're probably a lot more capable than you think you are. That's all, everybody. God bless. Take care. Peace.